This episode is brought to you by Bellator's Publishing, bringing stories to the world that last forever.
Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
The husband and wife podcast talking all things Quicksilver.
I'm JC.
And I'm Sean.
And today we'll be looking in our final theories just before the release of Brimstone.
All season, we have been capturing our favourite theories each week, writing them down in Adina's sketchbook in the hope that we will get at least something right.
We are less than a week away from the release of the long-awaited second book in the Fae and Alchemist series, so let's get into it.
We have got so many good theories to talk about this week.
Basically, the whole season is gonna be just compressed in this episode, so you don't want to miss this one.
Yeah, some of them we are still convinced we are going to die on those hills until we've read Brimstone. Some of them we've already changed our mind about, so should we take a whiz through the theories?
Okay, let's go to start then with my first theory of the whole season, and is that Elroy is Kingfisher's dad.
Do you still think Elroy is Kingfisher's dad?
I will say maybe like 60% now, thinking that it's actually Finran. Everything pointing out Elroy as a Fae, but that doesn't mean there has to be Kingfisher's dad. I still don't know, well, nobody don't know what happened with Carrion once they cross.
I've just had a brand new theory.
Oh, here we go. What is it?
So, do you remember that Hayden was described as like, there was like a wolfish grin? He had a wolfish grin.
Yes.
What if Hayden is Kingfisher's dad's son? Mm-hmm. He had another son in Zilvarin.
Yeah.
And so Ceres and Hayden are not actually related, but Hayden and Kingfisher are related. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to anything you said. But what if, because he's got a wolfish grin and we are convinced that Finran is part wolf?
Yes. I remember that the very first time when we read that reference about wolfish grin, I found it like really quick.
We were like,
weird,
is he a
why?
shapeshifter?
Yes.
Well, now we think that Finran is a shapeshifter.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the Luperprolia, the wolves, the beast that got sent through. What if Hayden is actually Kingfisher's brother? Half-brother.
I thought you were going to say, what about if it's Hayden, Kingfisher dad? I'm like, no, I don't
think Hayden is Kingfisher's dad. I don't know if that's just changed my mind, because I came into this episode thinking Elroy was Kingfisher's dad. But now I wonder if Kingfisher's dad is around. Elroy is a Fae. Like 100%.
Yes, that's something that I have cleared. I'm completely sure that he has a glamour, he's hiding the pointing ears and the canines, and it's just part of the same thing that Carrion was doing before. But is he Finran? I'm still not 100% sure about it.
We agree on the fact that Finran is still alive, right? Finran's in Zilvarin. We also agree that Elroy is Fae. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's something in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, next. My first theory from episode 1 is that Elroy hasn't given up and he is doing something secret with the glass.
You still believe in that?
Yeah. Didn't I have an idea yesterday what he was doing with the glass?
Yes, you said that he might be recreating the moon or trying to go back to the worship.
Yeah. I was like, I wonder, because there is no moon, so maybe they're wolves, maybe they're werewolves. I'm obsessed with this wolf theory at the moment. And there are no moons in Zilvarin. So if they are in fact true werewolves, where they need a full moon to change, he wouldn't be able to do that because there is no moon.
Yes.
So I wonder if he's doing something with the glass to try and simulate a moon, a full moon and a sphere. I know it's bonkers, but I was thinking like crystal balls. Yeah.
I mean, this is something that totally reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, because they had something like this when they need to see the moon to transform. And there's a time when there is no a moon, so they create like an artificial moon with like a power with lights, and it has the same effect. So they create this artificial moon to transform. So I don't know if I maybe in your theory they're making like the glass and maybe with some magic to reflect light or something.
I think I'm going all in on this theory. I'm going to say that Elroy is Kingfisher's dad. Hayden is Kingfisher's dad's son and has some
Half-brother.
wolfish traits, hence the wolfish grin. I think that Elroy is trying to simulate the moon with his glass. And I think they're all shapeshifters. They're all wolves.
Yeah. The only thing that I can't remember right now is what color are Hayden's eyes. It's maybe just like amber or brown or something. Because I think when Sarah was saying that her eyes were blue, there was like something unique.
They're not the same as Hayden's. Are Hayden's eyes green, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If maybe he has green eyes, and if there's no reference about the eyes, maybe.
Let's find out. It says, but apart from our shared personality quirks and the fact that the two of us loomed over most people in a crowded room, so they were very tall. So Hayden was also tall. There wasn't much about us that was alike. Where I was dark-haired, he was light. His hair was curly to the point of chaos, and there was so much of it. His eyes were a rich liquid brown.
Yeah, brown.
And bore a gentleness to them that my blue eyes did not. Okay, so he has brown eyes. He does not have green eyes. But there we go. Never mind. I'm still locking in. I'm locking in my theory that Hayden is Kingfisher's half-brother. Anyway,
Light.
Hayden's a wolf. And so is Kingfisher's dad.
Okay, next theory. And in this one, I say that Sarah's is part of Fae royal family, and she will be the queen of the Fae.
There is an island called Lycia, where the Lycians are. She gave her name as Lycia to the guards. She faked her name to Harren at the beginning. Everlane also called her Lys when she didn't know her name. We find out that they have a cave of Quicksilver and they worship it. And it's a huge store of Quicksilver. We saw there was a link there, didn't we, between the Lycia.
Plus, Everlane, she gives a reference as well about the blackhead of Sarah's. She said there's like a royal trend.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think so perhaps she's not just going to be the queen of Sanazroth. She's going to unite the Ivilian Fae with the Sanazrothians and possibly the Lycians, possibly the Aegean Sky. There's going to be a big united thing when they realize she's the rightful heir to the throne.
Yeah.
Okay, so my theory from that week was that Madra is Styx's champion and we will see more of the gods.
Do you still believe in Madrak?
It's because Madra came out of the shadows. Madrax. Madra came out of the shadows. I actually have a much deeper theory now, where that Madra is one of the gods. She could be Styx herself, or she could be the only female goddess that isn't Baal and Mithrin is Nisinai.
The god of masks.
The goddess of masks.
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason I think that Madra, Belicon, Malcolm are gods is that Belicon literally says they are gods, and I know that is something a tyrant king would say. So I know that I'm not falling for that one. But Zareth says, "My brothers and my sister won't be able to find you."
Yes.
And obviously, it's Malcolm, Belicon, Madra. They call each other brothers and sister. Like, I just have a feeling that they are gods, and they won't be able to see them. I don't think I believe that she's Styx's champion anymore.
No. I don't think that she is the champion, but something that is start to be clear that Kingfisher, he can wield shadows. I think Madra, she can as well, but I don't know if this is something related directly with the gods or is a Fae thing. Because so far we see
supposedly not Fae though, is she?
Kingfisher and Malcolm, they wield the same power. There's the illusions. So if Madra, somehow she had like power of the Fae and she's wielding shadows like him.
I don't think she's Fae. I think she's a god. But I
It's
think
like a
she's
human.
pretending to be a human.
Hmm.
Anyway, next. We don't know.
Okay, next one. As said, Evelyn is not 100% Fae. There's something suspicious about Bellicon and he is not fully Fae. So this passed to Evelyn as well. I'm completely right, and it's a fact that Bellicon is something else than just a Fae. We don't know if he is a god. He said he's a god. He nearly died, or Kingfisher stabbed him. He
He came
didn't
back.
die. He was, completely full recovered really quick. So he's not a normal guy. And Evelyn is his daughter. So I think wherever he is, all of this passed to Evelyn as well. And this makes
She's a
Evelyn.
demigod. My theory from that week is that Bellicon didn't actually want the portals to be open, and the royal archivist, Clements, was either knowingly or unknowingly sabotaging the attempts to restore the portals. This came from Rosarius saying that the previous archivist, was useless and he didn't look after the book. He destroyed some books. So that's like vibes of like covering up history, trying to interfere. Bellicon set the archivist the task of finding out how to open the portals. I don't think he did. I think Bellicon set the archivist the job of kind of sabotaging the attempts to find out how to reopen the portals. I think he wanted to keep Finran trapped.
Yeah.
I think while he was complaining about the lack of trade, I think overall he was better off without Finran there. So I think he wanted to trap him.
Yeah.
And that's why they were so easy to forgive Madra.
It totally makes sense. So instead to think that this Clement was somebody useless, it was somebody that was doing exactly what Bellicon told him to do. They just killed the Quicksilver claws.
Yeah, and he was also tasked with making relics and trying to work with alchemists to try and find out the secrets.
Yeah.
But the forge was completely trashed, it was deliberately messed up.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been Clements.
Okay. My next theory was that Onyx is actually a Fae and is an alchemist. So why I say this? First, because Onyx was found in this forge in the Winter Palace. That was the very first place where we saw Onyx. Second, because when Sarah stuck in a backpack and went to the Quicksilver pool, Onyx knew that she was trying to go inside the Quicksilver without any relics or anything. And the Fox was desperately trying to escape. The Fox knew both of them will die if they go into the Quicksilver. So I thought that this is something really that an alchemist will do. First, being in the forge, and second, had that knowledge about the Quicksilver. And now, not sure he was an alchemist. Definitely, I'm still thinking it's a Fae. But after finish the whole book, I start to think more about Edina as being inside the fox.
That was my theory from this week. So the same week that you predicted that Onyx is actually a Fae and is an alchemist, my theory was that Onyx is housing Kingfisher's mum's soul.
Yes.
I still think that her soul is in there. There's a few things that go against it, but overwhelmingly more for her to be there. So I'm just going to run through the ones that are off the top of my head. Like you said, Onyx was trying to stop Ceres from entering the Quicksilver at that point. That could have been, one, because she knew she was going to die or she wouldn't be able to make it. Two, because she knows that is her son's mate, God's bonded mate, because she saw it all and she wanted them to be together. The way that Onyx is at Ballard is just skipping, happy, knows the way to the apartment. How many people know their way to that apartment? It seemed like, although there was a big statue of Edina in the courtyard, it does feel like it was a safe place for her that wouldn't necessarily be known that everybody would be able to find her there. in The Fox, the Boots, the Dress, the bit that you pointed out around the voice from the dress saying, or the voice about the dress saying it's hers, the only other living creature that was in the room with Kingfisher at the time was Onyx.
Yeah.
And like, there is definitely some major link. And I was there at this point in the read through because I had just read The Fox, the Boots, the Dress, Kingfisher POV. You were reading that at the end, and that got you to that point as well. And coming back to what we said last week around the Kingfisher POV chapters being there because we needed to have certain information before we go into Brimstone.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that there needs to be more of those links to the fact that Onyx is somehow related to Kingfisher's mum. The other reason I think it's part of her soul is because I suspect that Adina is the one that gave part of her soul to Finran, because we know someone did when Lorath told him that story.
Yeah.
And if Adina is dead, then her spirit is still around. And we get a bit of confirmation of that from the Gate Part 2 Kingfisher POV chapter when Mirelle is saying that she's meeting Adina. Adina's with her. And they're both in this weird realm because Mirelle has given part of her soul to a sword. There's so much evidence. I'm going to lock in the theory that Onyx is housing.
Yes. You know that we always say that every single title on these chapters, there's always like a second meaning. That Kalihar always give like some hints. There's not just literally what you read. There's something else there. And when I was reading this, the dress, the fox, and the boats, or whatever, everything pointed out to Adina.
Yeah, and that chapter comes straight after Gate Part 2, and the last words in the Gate Part 2 is a message from Adina, and I think it just all links so nicely. The ballad bit is what like tipped me over I think there's definitely something in this. I'm locking in my theory that Onyx is playing home to the spirit of Adina.
Okay, next theory. There is something dodgy about Kingfisher family tree. His great-great-grandfather did something shameful, and we will learn more about this in the next books. So I say this because when Kingfisher was talking about all the wealth of his family, and he was saying that that place was built by his great-great-grandfather, he mentioned it like in a tone that for me was just like he wasn't happy talking about his ancestor. And I think it's because maybe this ancestor is maybe at the same time when Malcolm it was turned into a vampire. So I'm thinking that maybe his great-grandfather was maybe one of the Malcolm's friends or alliance or something, or he was he was helping or he was having maybe the same mentality as Malcolm, and that's why he was the one who started building wealth, taking all the land and doing all this kind of stuff. There, Kingfisher see it as something shameful.
So we learn about this in the Forge at Carlish, don't we? Yeah, I remember there was a story about he was a twin, was he? Or he had a brother and the
split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think something's weird about Kingfisher's family.
Yeah.
Not Finran, though. Finran's good. So my theory from that week was that the dead tree in the courtyard outside the Forge is related to, or is linked to the tree in the garden of Zareth. So Zareth said his brothers and sisters wanted to let the tree die and just start again. Is this dead tree a remnant of that having happened before? Is
maybe the first one or something?
Yeah.
I find the suspicious as well, and as well related to the gods. I don't know if it's exactly the same one that we will see by the end of the chapters of this book, or like you said, could be like something that was the original one, then they start over, this new one is dying again, so they say, well, we did it once, why just leave this one die again and start over? Because it's possible. It's just the sorrow said that, no, I don't want that happen again.
Yeah.
Okay, my next theory, we were talking about the runes the feathers had in this attack in the
Dining room.
dining room in college. So there was a few feathers there. There was one specific one. They were like really big and like really strong. And this one, it had a rune in the forehead. And I think maybe this one was kind of like the leader of these feathers. So maybe it was the one who guided to the dining room. So I'm thinking Malcolm is able to put runes and the feathers, and with this, maybe he's able to control them. Because fishes said the feathers are more just like beasts. They don't feel, they don't think, they just react and they just want to eat. But this one managed to go straight away to college looking for Fisher and Sarah's. So maybe it was like a puppet in Malcolm's hand taken into directly to this place.
And that adds possibly to the theory that Malcolm is or was a god, because runes are so heavily linked to gods.
And I wonder as well if Malcolm has something to do with that rune the Fisher has in the neck.
Yeah.
That maybe he's struggling trying to get rid of that rune, because that rune, when it's visible, is when he is like bad or he's a totally red flag. But when the rune is not there, then it's himself. Yes.
Interesting. I wonder what's happened to that after Malcolm, quote unquote, died. Not that we believe that he's dead.
Memoirs of Luzbel. She loved him. She lost him. And he came back. But wasn't completely him. She feared him. She fought him. But she fell for him. Memoirs of Luzbel. Now available on Amazon.
Okay, so Ceres has a dream after that. And my theory from that week is that the dream is going to be real. It foreshadows feeders attacking her, and there's some allusion to the fact that it takes place in Sanasroth. And I wonder if there will be a time in Brimstone when the feeders and the vampire, her subjects as Queen of Sanasroth, turn on her.
Yes.
And rebel.
That would be interesting if all of that was just foreshadowing to what's going to happen in Brimstone.
Yeah, what if like they realize Malcolm isn't actually dead, and then they
try
attack
to
her again?
Attack the imposter.
Whether she's not the rightful queen if he's not actually dead. You only become queen if you kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, what could happen?
Yeah, I like it. My next theory is pretty much more of the, I said before, is the Kingfisher great-great-grandfather was working with Malcolm.
So we must have had more evidence that week that you were like, yes.
So I think I started to feel like there's something suspicious about him. And then I end with, definitely was working with Malcolm.
Yeah. So I'm going to expand on that. And if his great-grandfather was great-great-grandfather, wherever we are in history, was working with Malcolm, perhaps his great-great-grandfather was linked to the gods or was a god in some way. My theory from this week was that Fisher is a demigod, or he will be. Also, I couldn't decide between the two theories.
Oh, maybe that tree is just the proof that Fisher great-great-grandfather was first, like the big god.
Yeah.
And maybe the whole family was just punished or like...
The tree died. He let the tree die. Because when he gets Nimmerel, the sword, in the Gate Part 2, or the Gate Part 1, I can't remember. He gets it.
By the end of Part 1.
Yeah. Baal and Mithin say this sword has waited millennia to be in yours. Like it's in his rightful hands after it was possibly his great-great-grandfather. I mean, it's millennia is quite a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's normal for Fae because they had thousands and thousands of years. So if I would consider like Finran's dad, and then Finran as well, and then to Fisher, then had been.
You're right. A millennium is just 1,000 years, isn't it, actually?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it a millennium? It makes it seem like it's millions of years, but it's not. A millennium is just 1,000 years. That does make sense then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is Kingfisher's great-great-grandfather was a god,
Yes.
had a tree in his garden, Carlish, which is now dead, and that tree remains.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what else happened, but that is where we're going with this.
Then maybe he is the last one of the family of gods that were
So
there
far.
before. And maybe Sarath, it was an alliance from this previous god, and that's why he's taking Fisher as a champion. And that's why the other gods are not agreed, because maybe they're saying, we did everything to take him out, and now you try to bring him back. And that's why
Maybe.
they're not agreed, they want to kill him.
I mean, if not, you should write that story because it's good.
Yeah. Should send the manuscript to Kelly Hart.
Just be like, I've had an idea. So also, I couldn't decide between that theory and the one that we will see dragons in Brimstone, because we'll talk about that, because I think that was my theory from last week's episode as well. But I just want to point out during these chapters, when we were first coming up with this was that there was the charred ground at Sanasroth, and you said during that episode, "Ooh, what if the dragons charred the ground?" And then I really liked that theory.
Yeah.
That was your theory from the week. It was just my favorite.
Okay, so for the next episode, I have a few theories. The first one, I said that Wendy is an alchemist. I say this is because she said that when the Quicksilver was away, she was able to feel this. And I think maybe if she is an alchemist, she will be able to feel it, or maybe to hear the Quicksilver. Because it seems the majority of the alchemists, at least, they can interact with the Quicksilver. Not many can do with other elements, but it's like the basic element is Quicksilver. So I'm thinking that, yes, she was, or she is, an alchemist, and maybe she will be a really important part training Ceres in the next book.
I agree. And I think the other weird thing about that interaction with Wendy was that she was like, "Oh, a Silvarin girl."
Yeah.
She wouldn't have known about Silvarin had she not been there or been able to recognize somebody. But the weird thing about that is that Ceres doesn't look like your average typical Silvarin girl.
Yes.
So there's something going on there between like what Wendy knows. But I think Wendy was obviously very good friends with Adina, and possibly when she was dying or before she died, she was like, there's going to come a time when you need to look out for Kingfisher. And she told her all of this was going to happen. So you got to take anything related to Adina with a pinch of salt, because she could have just given somebody forewarning.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think Wendy's an alchemist.
Next theory, Madra is using the army to take the little parts of their souls so she can live forever. So this was one of my first explanations that why Madra has been living for so many years. It's been for thousands of years, and that obviously is not normal for a human. But we know as well there's some people that are kind of like a cult for her, so they're carrying like pieces of her hair. So I was thinking maybe Madra is telling them, okay, I'll give you my hair so you can carry with you, and you had to do this oration, or you had to do this ritual that you don't know what you're doing, but you're giving part of your soul, and with this I will live longer. And maybe it's doing it with every single one. I no believe it that much, but I think it's still like a really cool explanation about how she lived for such a long time.
It's an option. I mean, like, my theories in order of what I really think is happening. 1, Madra is a god, goddess. 2, if not a goddess, I think she's doing something with the vampire blood. There's several mentions about a queen of Fae who was drinking vampire blood to become immortal. The guy that is selling stuff at the beginning when Ceres runs through the market, he claims to have the secret. Like, I feel like there's vampire blood is a thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's that. And then third, possibly, yeah, she's feeding on the souls of others.
The other part that support this theory is when Harun said that she won't let me die, or she won't let me like pass. That's because he knew that he gave her part of her soul, and she have it. And then even if he dies, he won't be able to pass anywhere. He will stay around. Next theory, Saros will be able to control all the elements. And this is from the part when these new runes appear in the hand. And then later on, Malcolm will tell us what it means, every single one of them. But I was thinking at that time that, yes, this is going to be the first hint that Saros will be able to control all these elements. And by the end of the book, I still thinking the same.
So I don't think she'll be able to control all the elements. I think she'll be able to control all the things that are on her runes.
Oh,
so
yeah,
not
that's
like
what that's what I mean.
elements as in like fire, earth, air. I think fire will be one of them.
What is left actually that she can't control because
Yeah. The salt is an interesting one. Like, I'm not really sure what that will do. But I think that we saw that in the first chapter, the climb on the top of the wall when the particles of the quartz rose.
But to be honest, I think just with this element that she has, she will be able to kill people because water, salt, and that's pretty much a big percentage of people as well.
Yeah. So I built on that theory and wanted to focus in on Brimstone because it's the name of the next book, obviously. I wondered if she'd be able to control the dragons via the Brimstone. And when I was prepping this, when I was like pulling in all my theories, obviously having just read The Gate Part 1 and The Gate Part 2 again, I had Omnam Chakrai in my mind, the big black dragon that Kingfisher killed. We talked about what Malcolm promised Omnam Chakrai.
Yes.
But what if at that moment, Omnam Chakrai, because he had been protecting the Ajahn Fae for years, millennia, they said. What if actually Omnam Chakrai at that moment was controlled by Malcolm's alchemist?
Yeah.
Instead of just being promised the bodies.
It will make sense for me because, like I said in that episode when we were talking about this, he had to eat before anyway, while he was eating before.
Goats and sheep.
Yeah, so
Well,
he wasn't eating fate by then.
I think they're hoarding dragons, and I think, or they're keeping them caged. And I think, because he said they will feed us. And I think he was being fed, or he was feeding himself, but he was not caged. He was the one dragon that was not caged.
Yeah.
Because this dragon was under control.
Yeah.
And it was protecting them.
Yes, it was being useful for that.
Yeah. But then they realized they could not be controlled, or maybe they could be controlled, but only by a very powerful alchemist. And I think that we'll see that in Brimstone has to be about dragons. Like, I know that I'm going to go into this because most of my theories now belong to this. What is the point of calling the book Brimstone if there's no dragons when we've got brimstone dripping from the teeth of Omnam Chakrai? And again, and I will say this over and over again, those Kingfisher POV chapters are so incredibly important for what we are going to see in Brimstone because Callie Hart wrote them at the same time she was writing Brimstone. So it is jam-packed full of all the stuff we need to know.
Yes.
And the dragon is a huge focal point of it. I will be absolutely gobsmacked if there are no dragons in Brimstone.
Okay, now my theory from that week. Solace can slow down time. So this is part of the scene when Saros is fighting next to Ramphas, and then she does something with the sword that kills one of the feeders. And she said literally the time goes slow while she is dodging the feather attack, and then she is attacking. When Ramphas have a look after what happened, he said like, "What was that?" Or something like he was really impacted about it. And I think this is because she was wielding Solace, and this is one of the powers that she had with this sword.
Yeah, I don't know that it does this, but I do love the theory. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's a reach, but I do really like the theory. It'd
Yeah,
be cool.
because obviously there's a couple of things like, okay, is that sword still holding some power from the gods, like the one from Loreth, that is still well empowered? Is actually Sauron the rightful owner of the sword now? It's like a lot of things, but for me, that specific scene is just I can't see any other explanation.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I couldn't either. My theory from this week was actually one of your theories. So my favorite theory from the week, it's worth saying that when we're running through these, we just say what our favorite theory from that week is. It doesn't have to be my theory or your theory. So this is yours. So you might want to add to this one. But this was one which kind of blew my mind when we were talking through it.
Yeah.
So Taladeus was asking for help from Kingfisher when he attacked a fae on the street. And that fae was Loreth. Going right back to Loreth's story, and he was almost dead.
Mm-hmm.
He was attacked by a vampire. I think that vampire was Taladeus. Taladeus and Kingfisher knew each other for a long time before that. I think Kingfisher knew him before he became vampire.
Yeah.
And continued to know him. And that is why he gave his soul to Loreth, not to save Loreth, but to save Taladeus' soul. Because maybe with every kill, they lose a bit more of their soul. Or, like, I think this was your idea, but I am completely in on it now. Like, both feet in this theory.
Yeah.
That Tal was the one that attacked Loreth.
Yeah, I really like this. It gave it like the moment when Loreth was talking with really angry with Taladeus from the distance as well. So for me, it was that. Well, what about if there's some story about these guys from before?
Yeah, we know they grew up together. We know that Kingfisher would do anything for his friends.
Yes.
Is one of the things that he would do, give his part of his soul to the victim of them to save Taladeus' soul from disintegrating even more because he'd killed someone. And like, yeah, I'm treating this like it's canon, even though we don't know.
I believe more that they just Kingfisher is like a good soul. They're just helping random people just because.
Yeah.
So I think there's more about it. Now, my theory for that week is the Carrier's plant.
Carrion's plant.
Yes. So I think there is a good reason that he's carrying this plant. There is way much more than just decoration. We know that he's been studying the Fae or his culture from before he went to this realm. He's been reading books once he managed to be here. So I think that plant has something really important for him. And it's something that we'll find out later on Brimstone. Maybe it's something related with his family or the blood or something, like enhance the power of the blood. I don't know, but it's useful. It's not just decoration.
Yeah, I have a feeling it will save Lane or somebody in that, like, everyone's like, we don't know what to do, and he'll be like, have you tried my plant? You know how he just like comes in clutch at the end of everything. I agree. I think that plant is not so innocent. So I had 2 theories from this week. The first one was kind of a joke, but the more I think about it, the more I love it, and I actually think it's going to happen. So Telena tells Carrion, as long as she says something like, as long as the sun sets and the moon rises, I will not sleep with you, Carrion Swift. I think that they're going to Silvarin in the next book. I think Telena and Carrion will end up in Silvarin, and he'll be like, oh, would you look at that? There's no moon to set. The suns are always there. So will you sleep with me now? I think Telena will sleep with Carrion in Silvarin. I don't know whether that means that I think Telena's husband's going to die, or because
Or she's going to cheat on him.
I don't think she would cheat. I think her husband's going to die. Like, I'm sorry. Rest in peace, man that we don't know. But I'm rooting
so she
for...
can be with Carrion.
Yeah. And then a slightly more serious one. Carrion's grandma was a witch, and that's how they found the cure. So I think this came back, like tracing his family tree, was that... the witches... Isabel says the witches were fundamental in finding a cure for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Carrion's granddad married a witch. They had Carrion's dad, and it was that combination of blood, the magic and the blood, that meant that they were the cure. And then Carrion subsequently has that. And I think there's a witch vibes, because he was also like going to go along with them just so he could sleep with the witch. And they were like, Laura said, you wouldn't do that. That's disgusting. And Carrion was like, no, I would.
He's
just
right.
to say I've done it. Yeah. So I think his great-granddad was probably similar.
Okay, my theory for that week is that Loreth is right, and the witches were the ones who bring all the dragons back, and they were the one who create the vampires as well. I'm not going to say they were like all the witches. They were like a really specific group.
Different clans.
Yes. They were the one who bring the dragon, maybe like Omnan Shakrai, and the ones that were helping Malcolm to be immortal turn into a vampire. I don't know how Loreth has this information, because I think this is part of another theory that I had, that maybe he is kind of like related to the witches, and then because all the stuff that he knew or who he is, maybe it's part of the family fate that's related to the witches. This group trying to kill him, sending vampires, and maybe from those vampire descent was Taladeus. So everything comes together.
Yeah.
But I generally think that, yes, there's a really small group. They are the one who are doing this.
And they're both
stuff.
right. So the witches helped and the witches hindered.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like the Balkida clan is going to be really important because they're on the map. And I know that Ishbal is part of the Balkida clan. The next one, which I really, really love, is that Carrion knows that Onyx is something more. I think Carrion can sense that Onyx is something more. Carrion's looking for Onyx. Why would Carrion be looking for Onyx? Anyway, there's not much more to say about that. I just think Carrion knows that Onyx is something more.
Yeah.
I also think that from that episode that Harren has always been Fae. Again, not much more to say about that, but
Yes, maybe a favorite glamour, you think, or
Yeah.
what happened? My next theory is that Edina told to Belicon there will be a new queen, and that it will be the beginning of the end for him. And I'm thinking this is because Belicon said that one of the reasons that he wanted to be with Edina is because she was like one of the most powerful oracles. But then the stuff that she was telling him, it was just lies. And I think it wasn't lies, because even when Fisher said that she had some mistake, like little things, there was like a massive discrepancy. Like watching Sarah as a fae, Fisher thought that she was wrong, but in the end we found out that no, she wasn't. So I'm thinking exactly the same, that she told the truth to Belicon, because also Fisher said that she never lies, even if
she can't lie.
Yes. So one of the things that she said to him was this: there will come a new queen that will end all his kingdom.
Here we go. So this is when I started going like well and truly down the rabbit hole. The Lupoproelia are wolf shifters. At the very least, Finran is. The reason I think this is because Madra says you sent that beast through to kill me. I think that beast is referring to a wolf beast, and that was Finran. There's wolves everywhere. The Lupoproelia are everywhere. So are wolves, like Lupo, wolves. The other thing is that vampires go hand in hand with wolves and shifters and werewolves and those types of things in fantasy fiction. It would not surprise me at all if there were wolf shifters. We know there are some kind of shifters in this book, because when they are in the inn, when they first escape the Winter Palace, we hear of other fae, and one of those fae are real mythological creatures that are like seal shifters.
Yeah.
So we know that there are shifters. We know that fantasy books, where there are vampires, there are often wolves as well.
Yeah.
And Hayden also has a wolfish grin. Okay, we should move on, because I can go on for ages about the wolf theory.
Okay, now let's move on to one of potentially my most unhinged theory about all this book, and it's that Malcolm is still alive, and Cyrus only killed an illusion of him.
I love this. I don't think it's that unhinged.
Let's go to start first when Belicon saying that if you want to kill him, you need to kill the three of them at the same time. That's why when Kingfisher tried to kill him, that didn't work, and then he came back safe with no even a scratch.
When Kingfisher tried to make a belly kebab.
A belly kebab, yeah, remember that. But here, obviously, Malcolm was weak after drinking from Karen's blood, but he's still stronger than Cyrus. But then, when Cyrus was cutting the head off, he disappeared and blew flames. And this for me is really suspicious because it doesn't look like it was something physical. It's more like an illusion. They just disappears in front of her.
Everything else was an illusion in there as well. The coins were an illusion. Yeah, I don't think Malcolm's dead. Okay, my theory we've already talked about, so we don't have to cover this one again. Belicon, Madra, and Malcolm are gods. They are the brothers and sister of Zareth.
Yes.
I doubled down on that one.
You still believe it? Yes.
Yep.
My next theory, the voice of Edina in Fisherman about the dress was real, and it came either from the dress or from Onyx. And the book is designed to make you believe there was just like a memory, or like Fisher just imagined the voice of his mom talking to him. But I think there's some magic here, and he's actually listened the real voice of his mom.
From Onyx.
Yes, could be from Onyx because Onyx maybe can project their thoughts.
Or is Kingfisher's mom?
Yes. Well, I mean, if it's Onyx the one saying this, it's definitely Edina because it says the dress is for her, my love, and it was Edina's voice. So if it was the fox, it's Edina inside the fox.
And my theory was that Coryx, which people who may not have recently read or reread Quicksilver or the Kingfisher POV chapters might forget who Coryx is. So Coryx is one of the original Lupo Proelia who fought alongside Kingfisher during the Battle of the Aegean Sky, and where Kingfisher closed the gate and defeated Omnam Shakrai. I believe that Coryx is still alive. I believe that they are fighting or working with the Erythian knights who are stationed within the city of Aegean.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that they are guarding dragons, and Coryx is stationed with them. Coryx was a dragon expert, knew a lot about dragons, so was kind of feeding Kingfisher some information when Kingfisher was fighting, or when they were fighting Omnam Shakrai. So I believe we will see Coryx in Brimstone.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we will see dragons, and that will be how we meet them. I also think that the Erythian knights are guarding dragons within the city of Aegean. Number one, because the map has dragons on it. Number two, Ren says something like they have been protecting Ivelia or the whole realm from something really deadly for years. And the Erythian knights physically could not move from their post. They would not abandon their post, not even for an attack. The scale of like 5,000 feeders and a massive dragon, they would not abandon their posts. And I think that is because they are guarding other dragons.
Plus the book is called Brimstone.
Yeah, exactly. I just really like the fact that I think we'll see Coryx.
Yeah.
We know that, or we think that one of Foley, another one of the original members of the Lupo Proelia, we believe he did not make it out of that battle. He was flung from the back of the dragon.
Fisher believe it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But nothing was mentioned about Coryx. We know Lorith is still alive. We know Danya is still alive, unfortunately. We know that Ren is still alive. Coryx is an unknown, but we know that Coryx is a dragon expert. So
Yeah.
I just know we'll meet. I just know. I just strongly suspect we're going to meet Coryx in Brimstone.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That is a run through all of our theories for the season, I just wanted to ask you what you're most looking forward to. Like, what are your most anticipated answers to the questions that you've had in Quicksilver that we will get in Brimstone?
The first one for me will be what's going to happen between Cyrus and Taladeus. Will she be like enthralled to him? Or we're going to see kind of like a triangle here between Fisher, Taladeus, and Cyrus?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the God's Bond trumps it all.
Yeah.
She's not going back as a vampire that is turned purely by Taladeus. She's going back as something that Zoreth turned her into.
There were a lot of people thinking that we will see that kind of situation. Even I start thinking when I finished this book the first time that yes, we might have some drama here between Taladeus, Cyrus, and Fisher. But after reading the point of view when he's in the maze with Taladeus, I don't think they will see that. Even I don't know why, but I start to think that either Taladeus really appreciate Fisher as a friend, like a best friend or as a brother, or maybe he had feelings for Fisher.
No, they had joint feelings, I think, for this one woman, didn't they? That we're going to find
Sabina.
Sabina,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be enthralled. And even if they were, I don't think Tal would do anything with it. Obviously, who or what is Onyx? Like, that's what I'm most looking forward to. I wonder if we would even find out because...
Yeah, that's the thing that I was about to ask you.
Yeah, I think that would be later. And we might do.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I would like to know if we're going to find out more about Sarah's family as a fae. Maybe
The history.
Yes, if maybe we'll see some reference about the hair, the eyes, or maybe it's people from Lycia where this coming, something.
Yeah,
Give us some clues.
Another one for me is Fisher's dad still alive? What is Fisher's real name?
Onyx.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Or F, Francis.
Yeah, something beginning with that F. And will Lorith hook up with Isabel?
That's gonna be another enemies to lovers story, you think?
Yeah. Put yourself a few weeks from now and we have read Brimstone. I'm gonna fire some people at you. By the end of Brimstone, will these people still be alive?
Okay.
Or still be dead? Malcolm.
Who will be alive?
Agreed. Carrion.
Alive.
Agreed. Evelyn.
I think alive.
Agreed. Danya.
I think alive still.
I think she's going to sacrifice herself.
If
She's
it
my
happen,
Danitos.
I don't see what happened in the second one. Maybe by the last one.
Yeah, maybe. Lorith.
Alive.
Ren.
Alive.
Tal.
Dies.
Ooh. Belicon.
Alive.
Madra.
Alive.
Harren. Still dead?
He come back. So he's dead. By the end of the book, he's dead. But he was dead before, so he will come back. Still dead. But he will come back.
What? I have
Zombie.
no idea what you said. Okay, moving on. Onyx.
Alive, yes.
Corix.
I'm not sure. I don't see it. It's a possibility. But, I mean, it's been mentioned in this Kingfisher point of view, so it's possible. Alive.
I'm going to go for alive as well. Hayden.
Alive, and we will see her.
Elroy.
He will be alive, but he might die by the end of the book.
He won't be Elroy. He'll be Kingfisher's dad. Right, next one. Kingfisher's dad. Finran.
Alive.
Okay, I think that's it. Think of anyone else?
Telena or Ishabel? Do you think?
Oh yeah,
and-
Helena alive.
Because they're the key to heal Kingfisher with the Quicksilver. If
Yeah.
anything happened to any of those two, he will be in trouble.
I think both alive. Anyway, thank you. That was random.
You're very welcome.
One thing is for certain, we are in for a real treat with Brimstone, and I, for one, cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Oh yes, it's gonna be so good. I start to like see more deeply what is going to happen. We will see more gods. We will see more monsters and Sonorath. What we're going to see. It's gonna be like reading a completely new book.
Yeah,
Is what
yeah.
I had the feeling.
I have loved this series. I've loved this deep dive, doing something new. I think we've got some ideas about next season. So bear with us while we get the book. But we'll be making some announcements over the next few weeks. We also have a midnight release to go to.
Yeah.
We also have possibly another event in the works.
Yes.
So stay tuned for all of that. But that is all we've got time for in our Quicksilver deep dive season. The next time we see you, we will have Brimstone in our hands. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy Pod for all the reactions, all the events, and like just all things Quicksilver. We would love to hear your thoughts, theories. Lock in your final theories with us.
And with this, we had just one more thing to say. Thank you for listening to Faithfully Fantasy.
The husband and wife podcast talking all things Quicksilver.
We'll see you in a few weeks for initial reactions to Brimstone and, of course, for more Faithfully Fantasy.
Bye.